Hi, folks. Back again. Sorry for the absence, but the last couple of weeks have just been pretty shit, to be honest with you. Everything's okay. I just got sick. Whole family got sick. Bit of a flu type thing, like a respiratory infection. I have asthma, so I always, nearly every time I get some sort of cold or virus or whatever, it always goes into my chest. So I lost my voice for a few days. I've just been out of sorts, and just between feeling ropey and my daughter's been really sick as well. So I look after her all day. So just haven't had time. Just been wrecked. So I'm back. Here we go. And the plan is to maybe try and get a few of these done today. And yeah, so hopefully over the summer months here, you know, we can pick up the momentum again, and hopefully there's no more spanners in the works. But yeah, so we're all getting there. We're getting better, and yeah, I've got my voice back. So I'm a bit hoarse, so I might come and go. We'll see what happens. You know me, I like to ramble on a bit, so I may have to have less chat. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, so did a little poll there, and the one that came back with the most likes on it was EPICA. Consigned to Oblivion live at the Zenith official video. So we're going to do it. For anybody new here, I don't research anything beforehand. If I happen to know the band, I happen to know the band. Whatever I already know, you know, that's what I go in knowing. So with Epica, I've never heard this band before. I really don't know anything about them. The only time I've ever heard of them is in the YouTube recommendations that came through. I'm pretty sure it came through one of the Arion videos that I did, the reaction, that one of the singers in that The Day That the World Breaks Down video apparently is a singer for Epica. That's all I know at this point. And, you know, on the screen here, when I typed it in, I can see in the corner it says symphonic metal. So I'm ready for some symphonic metal. Yeah, so there we go. Purposefully don't do it. The reason why I don't research is because I like to go in cold as much as possible. Just, you know, I've explained myself probably a whole pile of times on different videos, but just if you're new here, that's the intention, is, you know, just to take on something for the first time, not really knowing anything, because, you know, it's a nice feeling, same with watching movies, isn't it? Rather than already knowing what you're going to expect. I don't know, kind of ruins the fun or the magic a little bit. So here we go, and I'll give my thoughts as we go along. So without further ado, let me get my headphones on. Power of editing, eh? Okay, so let's get going. After 3, 2, 1, go.
The last one for tonight, but you know we always come back to Paris because we love Paris. Last one for tonight. Everybody, you know the drill. Open up in the middle to create the wall of epic.
Kind of gothic sounding at this point. Wow. Very unusual introduction.
Oh yeah, that looks good. Later on, I'll count down from 3 before we go, alright? First, hold! 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 3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, so let's take what's that 1 minute 41 in there. I can see the vocals are coming in. So thoughts so far? Yeah, the introduction's kind of unusual there. I don't know, it's that kind of improvised a wee bit, sounds it, especially from the drum fills and so on. Sounds like the drums maybe have triggers on them, not sure. But very powerful sounding, those fills, you know. What was I going to say? I have to say, like, when it comes to the plug-in sounds today, you know, samples, strings and so on, they're incredible, really, aren't they? Like, you know, as somebody who, like, you know, writes my own music and stuff like that, you know, I'm kind of familiar a lot with the likes of East-West strings and whatever. I'm not sure what he's using there, the keyboardist, but, you know, very authentic sounding strings. I made a comment like that in one of, I think it was a Nightwish video or something, and somebody, well, a couple of people said, you're not even hearing those, what you're hearing backing tracks of actual orchestras being recorded. So I don't know. The thing is, the plugins are so convincing nowadays, especially when you mix them in with the rest of the band, that it is possible to be fooled into thinking that, you know, it's either real or it's not real, because it's hard to tell. If you hear it on its own, completely exposed, whenever you're, you know, if you're in your digital audio workstation, or DAW as they call it, and you play your chord on the keyboard, you generally hear that it's not completely authentic, or it's not that it's not authentic, it's just that you can hear there's something slightly missing. But in the context of like a live performance here, it's very difficult to tell whether, you know, they're samples or not. Doesn't really matter anyway, but the strings are a beautiful sound is what I'm trying to say. I'm pretty sure he's playing them on the keyboard though, so it's probably a triggered sample. Really classical in nature, I guess, was said about the symphonic metal, you know, that's why we get that, isn't it, really? So our kind of cool thing there to see is the other members of the band getting involved. You can see the singer, obviously, is going to be the sort of front woman or front person. But, you know, seeing the guitarists involved in the crowd and you know, getting on the mics and so on, like, I kind of like that, you know, the energy of the band there, you know, everybody's really involved in what's going on there. There's no sort of backseat passengers, I feel like. I like that riff when it came in, you know, you got the open, you know, you got the guitars and the bass sort of along with the kick drum there providing the rhythm. And so the keyboards, like we so often see in symphonic metal, the keyboards are, you know, providing the melodic content there. So you get the melody being played with the strings on the keyboard, and then, you know, as the riff progressed, you get the harmonies coming in, you know, sounding like the thirds up above that, when you go dun 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 dun, you get that again only with the harmony above it. Kind of a sort of not typical but common thing to do whenever you're using in this kind of music. You know, it happens a lot in metal, especially any metal that has sort of classical roots or anything like that. You know, it's a very classical trait, that having those harmonies there. And I like this sort of, there's an odd time signature bar in there. Dun, 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, you know, it sounds like there's one bar of 7/4 in there. You know, I'm big into prog music, so whenever I get like a hint of an odd time signature there, I kind of strap in. I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of ready that, excuse me, that the next time it comes around, it could be 5 or not 7, to changing it. So far there, the formula seemed to be, you know, going back and forth between, it's like 2 bars of 4, which would give you 8, and then 1 bar of 7. Yeah, pretty sure that's what's going on there. And yeah, crowd enjoying themselves into the mosh. So, okay, so without further ado, let's get back into it. That's just initial thoughts, and I can see the singing's about to come in. So let's continue.
Run!
So I must ask there, where are the additional vocals coming from? Are they backing tracks? It sounds like there's some sort of choir going on there, I heard it straight away as soon as she started singing the lead vocal there. If you pay attention to the background, you can hear there are other vocals in there. They're lower in the mix, but they're definitely there. It's hard to tell, obviously, because of the camera work going around the whole band. Possible that the choir is the sampled choir, I guess, the keyboard player possibly playing that. Or I'm not sure if they're using backing tracks or not. By the way, don't worry if a band's using backing tracks. It doesn't take anything away from the band. Just trying to establish what's happening live and what's not happening live. I think the most likely thing is that the keyboardist is playing a choir sample there. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, it gives a nice extra warmth to her vocal. Very operatic sounding. I know that with the symphonic metal thing, that is one of the sort of common things, I guess, that defines the genre is a lot of female vocalists and very operatic in style. But I've heard some that, despite that, the singer sounds kind of like, it doesn't really sound operatic. It kind of sounds like a take on opera. Which fulfills the role or fulfills the purpose, but it doesn't sound like an authentic sort of operatic voice sometimes. I don't know anything about this band, as I said, or anything about the singer, but there's something about the style of her singing that, to me, it does sound more like actual opera, like actual operatic singing that hasn't been changed to be put into like a metal context. It doesn't sound more rock orientated or taking on different elements. Now, it might change as things go on, of course. Excuse me. But we'll see. It's just there's something very pure and operatic sounding about her vocal that I really like. Lot going on here. I like this little section in particular. I like that sort of ostinato on the keyboard. Ba da 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 da. That was then reflected in the bass guitar. There was something at the end of that riff. You could hear the other instruments taking that on. That was nice to follow, and they didn't do it the next time, which I really like as well. So I don't know. It's a nice blend. I think whenever an artist does that, when they give you something that's sort of spicy, as a jazzer would call it. And you're kind of looking forward to the next time, but they don't just give you it the next time. I kind of like that. It's like, teasing, it's like, here's something really nice, but we're not just going to give it to you all the time. I kind of want to run that little section back there. It was something nice. There was some nice things going on there as well with the holding back and then the accent coming in on the drums. That was kind of cool. Let's go back a little bit. That's nice. That's really nice singing. Right, so there's that choir again there. I have to figure out where that's coming from. You see, the thing is, it doesn't just sound like a choir patch. Typically whenever you play a choir patch, when you trigger it with your piano, it's like an ah or an ooh type of thing. It doesn't actually give you the syllables of whatever language you're speaking. It sounds to me like there's actual words going on with that choir. So that's why I'm sort of curious as to where it's coming from. The keyboardist there definitely was playing more ornate things than that choir, so it's possible that's a backing track is coming from somewhere else. Anyway, sorry. I get bogged down on details like that sometimes. Just I don't know why. It's because I can't see it. You know, I can't see where it's coming from, so I can't help but try and figure out where it is. So there we go. I think that's what's going on. I'm sure somebody will correct me along the way, which is fine. Right, so let's go on. Lovely groove on the drums. I like that tambourine along with snare. There's that time signature, yeah. So, is that to be tongue-in-cheek? Like, you know, yeah, well, there, I mean, I've paused on that, and he's got a big smile on his face. To me, that is hilarious. You know, the keyboardist in particular, like, I've been a keyboardist in plenty of bands before, and it's hard to be like a rock guy whenever you're at a keyboard. Like, you know, you can't really rock out at a keyboard. You know, there's something always a wee bit geeky about it. It's just fine, though. It's fine. But there's something very kind of comical about him giving the full-on but playing the keyboard at the same time, and he doesn't seem to be. Is he saying something, like, you know, or is he just literally screaming? It's kind of cool. It's funny. It sounds like, you know, he's got a sense of humor here. Just keep following the brain. Have always been delayed, so I don't know if I'm looking into anything symbolic as well. There's something quite, should we say, something almost sexual about the way the female vocalist is just holding that mic up to his face. I'll let you fill in the gaps there, you know. Yeah. Probably says more about me than them, so I don't know. Ooh. It's like she's got the masculine stance and he's got the more feminine stance. So all sorts of sort of strange psychology going on here. Yeah, I don't know. Right, let's move on. Another thing worth mentioning there is the drumming. The drumming's kind of, I was getting aspects of like Paul Bostaph or maybe Dave Lombardo's Slayer. You know, the double kick thing there is very like Slayer. But you know, when it comes to the fills, it's interesting what he's doing there, because, you know, the music is making me feel like this. You know, it's got a groove to it. But quite a lot of what's happening on the drums is it's very fast. You know, even as fills there, did you hear there was something that caught my attention there on the ride bell? You know, where we got like a, I don't know if the mic's going to pick that up, but that sort of speed, even though we're grooving at this, you know, it's unusual to think of a fill that fast. And the double kick obviously is very fast as well. So very sporadic and kind of very fast drumming, despite there being a slow groove. So it's kind of a bit of a juxtaposition going on there, you know. Also must say, for a live performance, I really like the production on this. Usually there's something, well, I guess with more modern day, what's this, 2017 this went up, with obviously with a lot of more modern day live productions, you know, the technology is pretty sophisticated now, so things usually sound good. But, you know, if you're going to hear any weaknesses in a band, you're going to hear them live. I mean, these guys are top notch, you know, they're full on legit professionals. Like I said, I've never heard them before, so I can't compare them really to the recording, but, you know, everything is so tight. You know, they're obviously insanely talented, professional musicians, every single one of them. But the production's nice, you know, and the thing that kind of made me lead on to that comment was the bass. Actually, I got something about the bass. There was just a lovely tone on the bass guitar, just filling that low end, particularly live. I guess it can be difficult to get that balance between, you know, the band, especially in metal music. There's plenty of metal gigs I've been to, and live, it's just sounded like a mess. And it's no reflection on the band. It's just, it's either to do with the acoustics of the room, how many people are in the room, whoever's, at the desk, really, I guess a lot is on them. One of the worst gigs I ever remember being to was, I'm sure you've figured out now I'm in Northern Ireland, so Belfast is pretty close to me. So most of the gigs that I've seen have been in Belfast, and then occasionally down south, in Dublin and places like that. It's most of where most of the live stuff I've seen in my life. Anyway, there's a venue called the King's Hall in Belfast, which isn't really a music venue. It kind of has like, what would you call it? Like farmer stuff and all. Like, so there's like a certain time of the year when like the country turns into a standstill because all the farmers come out to bring their cows up to like the King's Hall. Exhibitions, those kind of things. You go up and there's like, like pets, it's that kind of venue. Anyway, for whatever reasons, some bands, I've been aware that bands like Bon Jovi have played there back in the day, but but I was really young whenever they played, so it was before my time, like. But most of the gigs would not take place there. But for whatever reason, I think it was a Blackening tour when I went to see Machine Head. They were supported by Killswitch Engage, and there was another band that were fairly well known supporting them. I can't remember, but I was more of a Killswitch fan than Machine Head, although I do kind of like Machine Head as well. I really liked the Blackening album when that came out. It was really good. But the sound was so bad in that gig that when Killswitch were playing, and I knew the Killswitch songs inside out. At that point, they had Hard still singing for them, and he was a great live performer. Anyway, Killswitch's sound was abysmal. It was so bad that, like, I'm not even joking, I didn't even recognize the songs they were playing, and I knew the riffs. Like, I could play the riffs because I'd learned them on the guitar, so I knew the songs. I'm standing there listening to, mainly all I could hear was echo and drums and faint screams. The sound was terrible. Machine Head wasn't really much better. And remember, it's no reflection on the band. I've seen those bands, DVD footage and live footage. Those guys can play, but it just shows you how like a live setup can sound really bad. And I wasn't so off my head, blocked. It wasn't that. It was really bad sound. So just sorry, I know I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I think it's kind of relevant to live footage, especially whenever you're watching a band for the first time. And, live concerts were usually, like, live recordings are usually something I kind of avoid because I grew up sort of buying CDs of like Queen Live Killers. A good gig, but ropey sound on that album. When a band puts out a live record, usually I'm not really into the live stuff that much, but I have to say, the technology or, the sound engineers and stuff like that involved and everything now, the live gigs can really sound really, really good. Right, back to the song. All right. Nice interplay between the guitarists there, I don't know. It's just nice. It's kind of heartwarming in a way to see a band. You hear, funny I mentioned Bon Jovi. I remember watching a documentary on Bon Jovi a few years ago. And John Bon Jovi wasn't even socializing with the band anymore. You know, communication had broken down so much in the band that he was sitting drinking bottles of wine on his own and like, you know, backstage area. And the only time he seen the band was when they walked on the stage, you know. So it's nice to see, you know, I mean, that could still be going on, you know, that they could be so professional that they're able to get past all that. But usually band politics and personalities and so on, you know, if you guys are in the music, you know, there's no secrets, you know, the sort of stuff that goes on within bands. So it's kind of nice, just nice to see a band really engaging with each other on stage. Bassist and the guitarist choose it. Sorry, I probably should explain why I grimaced a little bit there. That was so odd, and it was hard to hear it on the second time. I was waiting on it the second time to double check to see if it was a mistake or I don't know. But, you know, we're quite obviously in a minor key here, and we got the brass coming in there. But then whenever it came to the octaves on the piano, we played like part of a major chord, which was kind of clashing. You would expect da 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 da, but he went into the major part of that. I don't know. It just kind of caught me unaware. It's not what my ear was expecting to hear. You know, it completely changed the sort of vibe of the song. Or it almost kind of went into like a kind of positive, kind of almost, dare I say, happy kind of sound, which I don't know. Really wasn't expecting that. The second time, I don't know whether there was somebody, one of the guys in the band was kind of talking over it. I didn't really pick up whether he did it on the second time or not, but I'm going to run that back. Maybe I'm imagining things like, but definitely heard something there. It caught me unaware.
Yeah, you guys fucking rock! Thank you so much for this fantastic evening! We'll see you all!
It's just hard to hear in the mix. It was obviously before that. Let's see. This is all minor. Hear that da da da? That's a major chord. It just sounds unusual there. Okay. Back to minor.
Oh yeah, you guys fucking rock!
Unusual.
Thank you so much for this fantastic evening.
Yeah, you did it again that second time. Fair enough. To say, at least judging what I've heard so far, the drums are providing like a sort of virtuosic element, aren't they? Really, with all the fills, but they're not getting in the way of the music, like. But you know, they're obviously their main role. You know, the drummer is there to provide the groove or whatever. But you know, he's managing to fit a lot of sort of kind of flashy fills in there, which is cool. Kind of keep things interesting. The guitars and the bass seem to be, you know, it's quite different from like a guitar band type thing, you know, because you would normally expect the riffs to kind of come from the guitars. When I say riffs, I mean melodic riffs. So instead of like open strings, you know, something going on here. It seems to be that obviously the bass and the guitars are very much providing. The guitars are almost like a second bass, you know, they're playing a lot of open notes and providing rhythmic content. I guess it doesn't really surprise me that, because you've got the keyboardist in there, you know. So the keyboardist obviously is bringing that whole sort of orchestral element. And I guess if the guitars were playing melodic content as well, you know, things could possibly get a wee bit too much. So it's just interesting, the structure of it, isn't it? You know, the guitars, their role so far, at least in this song, up to this point so far, is to kind of, they're providing the backdrop as opposed to, you know, driving the song. The song seems to be mainly coming from the keyboards, you know. Interesting. Just playing chords and playing the rhythmic content, you know. If you listen to all the melodic stuff you're hearing is coming from the keys. Guitars aren't doing anything there, just holding an open note. All keys. I like that. Now we're talking. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Come on! Open your eyes. That was class. That little section there was, yeah. Yeah, I really like that. The whole thing's cool, like, don't get me wrong. But you were right up my street there with that whole thing there, very classical in nature. Now, when I say classical, I'm mainly referring to the way things moved compositionally, not just because there's orchestration going on. I like that sort of in and out of like going into 3-time, back into 4. Was the keyboardist like on some sort of Segway thing or something like that? It looked like he was moving in the background. Anyway, yeah, caught me off guard as well. I just love the interplay between the band. You know, I could see the singer was giving them space there. You know, she's disappeared there for that little interlude, I feel like. We kind of... Do you know, it kind of reminded me of Dream Theater a little bit, you know, when they're like, okay, so now the band, let's get a little bit intricate here for the instrumental stuff. But I kind of preferred that to what Dream Theater do. I'm a Dream Theater fan, but what I really liked about that was the harmony. Because of the classical aspect of it, there's that like harmonic minor scale being used a lot, you know. You're getting like sort of diminished, clashing sort of chords, which go back to that sort of gothic thing I was talking about before. And you could even hear like layers of harpsichords and so on in there. You know, I really like that. I mean, I'm just realized in the pop-up screen, I mean, I'm wearing a Cradle of Filth t-shirt. You know, talk about gothic metal. You know, there's definitely elements of gothic stuff going on there with this sort of twinkly harpsichord kind of sounds, and yeah, those clashing notes in the guitars. You know, that was right up my street there. Really like that bit. I'll take a tiny bit of it back in again before we move on. Key change. That beautiful chord. With the organ sound in there as well. Bit of Bach. It's funny after me just saying about the guitars providing that sort of the backdrop. Now you can hear that the guitars are really driving that part. You know, dan and da. You know, with the riffing that's going on there. Yeah, there was a part there where you could hear the keys. Just they took the back seat there, and they were just providing this sort of long pad kind of sounds. You know, providing the backdrop. So you're mixing things up. Obviously, the guitar is very prominent in the mixer. You can hear it's very loud, so you can't help but your ear be drawn to that. But if you listen carefully, you can hear, you know, the organ. You know, the organ is kind of busy in there as well. Like you can see it too. You know that the keyboardist is doing this here, but you have to listen a little bit harder there. The organ sounds are lower in the mix, aren't they? Bringing things back again. Is that the last song of the gig? You know, the big explosion there, yeah, that was cool. Unusual. It was unusual that, you know, what I'd said about the vocals earlier on. Ansel, what I'd said about the vocals earlier on, you know, about the operatic style, you know, she came in at the end there and she almost sounded like a different singer there because it didn't have that operatic element to it. You know, it's just a different style of singing. I can't really talk about singing because I can only talk about it as a texture, as an instrument. You know, I don't know technicality stuff about singing, so there's no point in me trying to explain what it sounded like to me. It was obviously a different style. You know, didn't sound like operatic style, should we say? So yeah, listen, thanks very much for the request on this. Don't forget to comment below. You know, give me other suggestions from this band, from any style. You know, I'm hoping to get back into the swing of things here again. So yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and I'll see us all again next time.